In order to migrate files from a local hard drive or a file share on a file server to SharePoint or Teams, we will use the SharePoint migration tool. Here you will notice that I have it installed on my desktop. In order to find it, just do a search for the SharePoint migration tool. Here I have found it under the Docs of Microsoft. Select that link. You will come to this page or a page similar. On this page I will scroll down and install the SharePoint migration tool. On this link, here's a public view first release and the general availability. You'll select this link to install here and agree to the terms and install. Once installed, we will show you how to use this to migrate your files from a FileShare to a channel in Teams, which is also a SharePoint file storage. So here I will start the SharePoint migration tool. When prompted to log into SharePoint, use your University of Missouri credentials at umsystem.edu and the associated password. And then of course authenticate. Once authentication has been approved, you'll select Start a New Migration. Here we're going to copy the contents in this example from a file share and we'll place it on a SharePoint site. So I will select File Share and I will give it to the path of the file share. I'll open up my File Explorer, go to the directory path. In my case, I've drilled down to the folder that contains the contents of the files. I will copy that path and place it on the source. Here, instead of selecting the folder, I will select only the folder contents. So I do not want to select the folder name. I only want to copy the contents within that folder. I will select Next. Since this will be a Teams channel, it all sits on top of SharePoint. I would simply select SharePoint and it asks you for the SharePoint URL or the location. To get to that from Teams, you'll want to select the channel in which you want to copy your contents to. In this case, I will just copy it to my testing channel. I will go to Files and I'll just simply copy the contents into this channel. To get the address of that channel, I will say Open in SharePoint. Once logged into SharePoint, you will see this is my team and here's the testing channel. So I'll just want to copy this address by using Control-C to copy. I'll return here to the migration tool and I will paste it and hit Next. Here it'll truncate it down to the team name and down to the channel from that address that I had given it. Once verifying that it is documents in the testing channel, I can hit Next. If it's a different channel or location, you can always drop this down and choose the correct channel by selecting Documents arrow and then selecting the correct channel. And here again I'll go to Testing Channel and select Next. It'll ask you to verify and you can name your migration project. In this case, I will just name this Shared Migration. You can save it for later if you want to do this at the end of the day, but in this case I will hit Next. And here's the options. You can just perform scanning to make sure everything's ready to copy, and you'll see some other options there. I'll just migrate it. Depending on how many files you have and the size of those files will determine how long it will take. Once the migration is complete, you will receive a report window such as this, and you can view your report. Here it shows that all items were migrated, all files, and there was no errors. You can view the report in deeper detail. Here's the reports for that one migration. You can now close this window. Please note that this is a copy of files and not a move, so the original files are still on the file share, as noted here. file service administrators may want to take away rights to this data, and if possible, leave the data there for future reference for unforeseen issues. But here, it does not look like the files are there, but let's refresh this screen and go to Files. Here you will see the newly copied files. You can verify by opening up a folder and find your files. Once in a channel, you can easily move around files to various locations as needed.